Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris, the High Guy Jacobs, and today we are talking about something that has honestly been on everybody's mind. We touched on a little bit into it when we discussed, the beast base, but now we're going to take a little bit of a deeper dive into the beasts themselves. Now, the problem here is that a lot of what we're talking about is not necessarily going to be the way that the beasts actually play out. The reason being, unfortunately, the developers have been very unclear with how they actually work, and we'll read through the text so you can see exactly what they've provided us with. And so even going through reports, which I can show you some as well, there isn't a lot of description on how influential these beasts are going to be. So let's go through the basics of the beasts. We'll break down in individual videos later the individual beasts themselves. But let's take a look at beasts as a whole and see how influential these can be inside the game. Okay? First and foremost, what you're going to notice is that there's 4 different types of beasts. You've got physical beasts, you've got grass beasts, you've got water beasts, and you've got fire beasts. You'll also notice your fire beasts have 2 legendary, 2 elite, 1 rare, and 1 common. Same with water, 2 legendary, 2 elite, 1 rare, 1 common, and same with grass. The only one that doesn't have the rare and common is physical. They are a little bit different. Now, why are they a little bit different, you may ask? Well, if we click over here, we can start to see the Biochemical Beast attribute advantage. Fire is stronger than grass, grass is stronger than water, water is stronger than fire. And subsequently, fire is weak to water, water is weak to grass, and grass is weak to fire. But if you'll notice, physical has no type advantage or disadvantage whatsoever. So it kind of does its own thing on the side. And if we click on these heroes or these characters, you'll see that they actually have a kind of a specific purpose built into them. One is built more for Garrison, and one is built more for Rally. Now, how these influence the marches directly, we don't know. Remember, a lot of what we're talking about is subjective, and a lot of what we're talking about is stuff that we're making assumptions on, okay? But when we read through the attributes and we look at some of these heroes, we're going to go through the physical ones today just because there is only the 4 of them to touch on. We're going to read through the attributes here, and we're going to give you a little bit of a deep dive on what the IGG give us for how they work, and then we'll run through a report or two so you can see the actual ramifications of what we're seeing from them, okay? So first, when we talk about biochemical beasts, we've got attributes. You got basic attributes and we've got special attributes, right? So, and these are going to go up as we level up the hero, or as we level up the biochemical beast. Now, we went through in our previous stage how to level up, in our previous video, how to level up beasts in general when we're ranking them up, right? You have the option to level them up using materials. You can then promote them, you can then promote them over here, consuming copies of themselves, and then you can raise their potential by using potential extract over here, and then obviously by needing pristine life to level up these special potentials as well. Okay, so once you have your heroes leveled up, once you have your beasts leveled up, obviously their skills are going to do more. Their attributes will do more and things like that. Obviously, if you look at a max level, for example, at level 100, level 13, the attributes themselves start to add up. So you end up getting crit damage over here, grass reduction, and squad damage reduction. So are they important? Yes. How important? We don't really know yet. And I'll tell you a couple of reasons why. When we look at the attributes and we look through the actual information here, it says when squads bring along biochemical beasts, the beasts will join the squad in battle. The squad will have additional biochemical beast attribute information. So it says that it has some additional attribute information. But then it says it will only engage in attacks with the enemy biochemical beasts of the squad's target. They will only engage in battles with the other biochemical beasts and are unaffected by heroes and troops. So first it says that there will have some advantages, and then it says that they won't. Now, whether that means that it's providing passive buffs to the squad, we don't really know yet. And the reports themselves are pretty unclear. Now, when the target biochemical beast runs out of HP, so when your biochemical beast runs out of HP, the attribute icon will turn gray. If your biochemical beast continues to attack at the point, the damage will be converted into damage dealt to enemy troops. Okay, so it says if when the target biochemical beast runs out of HP, the attribute icon will turn gray. So if your attribute icon on your item turns gray, that means your biochemical beast has lost its HP. So if you're attacking somebody who does not have the image here lit up and nice and green, you're dealing additional damage to their troops with your biochemical beast. When in a rally or garrison, biochemical beast HP will be boosted based on the number of troops in the squad and their strength. Replenish the troops in the squad to restore additional HP to the biochemical beast. This additional HP disappears when the squad is no longer in a rally or garrison. So basically what this means is you can replenish the HP of your beast by replenishing the squads inside the rally. If you don't know how to recall your troops from a rally and resend back to the rally, you should ask a player and learn quickly, because that is a very important skill that a lot of people don't know, or it seems like they don't know. At least the people that I'm playing with, a lot of them I'm having to teach how to recall marches and resend, but it's a very important skill in order to maintain your rally's length and duration and efficiency. Okay, so learn how to do that as well, which is also going to help your biochemical beast, because you'll be replenishing its HP at every time that you replenish the rally. But see, that's what they give us for the biochemical beast battles. That's pretty much it for the basic attributes, right? So these are the attributes of the beast itself. You've got a certain amount of HP, you've got a certain amount of attack and defense. Now, my assumption is that the special attributes will provide, how do I put this? Obviously, these ones provide damage to itself, right? So crit damage is going to be based on the beast dealing its damage, which is going to be converted. But when I look at certain things over here, like squad damage reduction, I assume this is going to be a passive skill that's provided to your entire squad. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what I'm thinking. Whether counter damage is the same, I'm not sure. This could also just be based on the skills itself, based on the biochemical beast attributes themselves and dealing damage and having it counter from there, or in regards to it being in battle with other biochemical beasts. But I assume some of these are going to be passive onto your troops as well. Even things like your fire reduction, it could be added passively onto your troops or your marches. We still don't know. So that's why I've kind of waited so long to do these videos, because there's so much we still don't know about these things. Okay. Now, if we read the special attributes, there's a little bit more information on how these special attributes work a little bit. So biochemical beasts can deal damage to enemy biochemical beasts in battle. When enemy biochemical beasts do not have enough HP to take the damage caused by your biochemical beasts, the excess damage will be converted into damage dealt to enemy troops. The damage caused by biochemical beast is divided into two types: direct damage and status damage. Unless otherwise specified, all damage caused by biochemical beast is considered direct damage if they are not caused by a status, like corrosion and things like that. So all damage is direct. Once it's converted, it means it's direct damage from there. At least that's what I'm understanding this to be. Again, feel free to voice off in the comments whether I'm doing this wrong, whether I'm wrong, whether you're reading this differently. Because again, this is just what they've given to us, and there's not really much else description. So, biochemical beast deals damage in battle. They may trigger a critical hit based on their crit. When a critical hit is triggered, the damage will receive a crit damage bonus. Unless otherwise specified, corrosion damage cannot trigger critical hits. So when your biochemical beast deals damage, you can have the chance to deal additional bonus damage. Pretty simple. Same with combo. So when biochemical beast deals damage in battle, they may trigger a combo based on their combo score. When combos are triggered, biochemical beasts will automatically use their active skill one additional time. Now when it says active skill, if you look here, every biochemical beast has 4 skills lined up. They've got a leader skill, they've got an active skill, and then they've got 2 passive skills. Okay? So they've got the leader skill, which is only takes effect when the biochemical beast is set as a leader. They got the active skill, which is going to be triggered by counterattacks or can be triggered by counterattacks and combos. And then the other two, which are your passive skills. So let's go back to attributes. Let's go back to here. And let's go back to the combo. So it's going to trigger your active skill one additional time. This effect is not affected by cooldown and can only be used once per second. Otherwise, specified counter damage and corrosion damage cannot trigger combos. Pardon me. Next, you've got counter. So when Biochemical Beast deals damage in battle, they may trigger a counter attack based on their counter. When counter attacks are triggered, Biochemical Beasts will automatically use their active skill one additional time on their attackers. This effect is not affected by cooldown and can only be used once per second on the same target. Unless otherwise specified, corrosion damage cannot trigger counterattacks. So corrosion damage to me seems like it can't really trigger any of these bonus things. It by its own self is its own damage modifier. Next, you got Shield Battle. Biochemical Beasts can gain shields during battle through some skills, thus generating shield value. The shield will absorb all types of damage dealt by Biochemical Beasts until the shield value reaches 0 or the shield vanishes. Any remaining damage that was not successfully absorbed will be taken by the Biochemical Beast. So they create their own shield, and it says thus creating shield value. So I assume this is going to trigger with characters like Bodala, characters like Riven who have those shields, characters like Ragaro who have and generate those shields, right? So I assume there's going to be some kind of work together that kind of works together that way. At least that's what I'm assuming. Remember, a lot of this is assumptions based on all the information that they're giving us, because truth be told, that's really kind of all that they've given us, right? When you talk about the basic attributes and they talk about special attributes, that's it. They don't talk about whether these are effective to who. They don't talk about where they're actually affected by. And look at this. I'll show you a couple of reports here. If we look at some of these reports, I had some over here in a conversation with Reaper. Here we go. We were looking at some and having a quick conversation about them. But let's look at something here, right? So we look at here and we scroll down and we're looking at some of this and we look at the damage. So this to me tells me, well, he was in fight, but I don't understand why his beast isn't dealing any damage. Right? I don't understand why his beast isn't dealing any damage. It doesn't make any sense to me why his beast isn't dealing any damage, except on the other side, we're getting some damage. So unless he's not being targeted, unless he was running away, which is possible. So if he's running away and he's being chased, that might be the case, because then he's not dealing, his beast isn't directly attacking because they're not dealing basic attack damage. Right? They're running. That might be the case. But I remember seeing one here, a tower. Here we go. Let's look at a tower attack or a rally. So we're looking through the report here and we see these damage numbers. Okay? So we see 4,200, 42,000 damage, 93,000 damage. Is that troops? Is that, like, how are they converted? Are they automatically converted here? I don't understand. Are these troop losses? It doesn't really say. So not only that, but there's nothing you can really click on to give you more information. It doesn't really break it down. If we look in the squad buff, yes, we'll see it over here, right? Where we see the difference, and it's comparing the difference between each other's beasts, comparing HP, attack, defense, things like that. But then you get squad damage reduction. Does that mean that my squad also gets, right? Because it's the same as squad damage reduction? Is it the same? Or is it only these guys that receive the squad damage reduction, making them tankier until they can do damage? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, is it the entire squad that gets the damage reduction, or just the Biochemical Beasts that get the damage reduction in order to make their HP more so that their damage can be converted to direct damage? Do you see what I'm saying? It's very unclear. Very unclear. And what's even worse, when you look through the battle logs, now first off, if you haven't looked through these battle logs before, don't get too confused by them, okay? It's a lot of words, and unless you spend a lot of time actually looking through them, it can get confusing very quickly, okay? And I want to do an entire video about going through reports because of how important going through reports is, just to understand how things are working, okay? But if we look up here, for example, we look at the battle result, all we're given is the squad size of both, what's left, the overall battle result, and how things down. If we break it down a little bit, we can see Nowhere does it mention anything about damage from Biochemical Beasts, okay? So Stella was inflicted with an attack increase. She gets Fighting Spirit effect by her Battle Dance. She was inflicted by a weak from armament skills, so squad attack goes down. Counterattacks have a 20% of chance. Oh, right, from someone else, from the other Stella. The weak effect on Stella. So Stella, here we go, launched a basic attack. So here's where we see the damage, right? So 1,293 troops were lost. This is the spread up of how they were lost among everybody who was taking part. Let's see, basic attack was triggered. Basic attack was triggered. Counter attack came in. Counter attack came in. Basic attack was triggered again. Still nothing about Biochemical Beasts. Counter attack was triggered. Now here we see crystal pangolins use strange swipes. Deals damage to the target every 3 seconds. 336 HP out of 252,000. Now, is that 252,000 HP on the lava rhino? So it's not doing any additional damage right now. It's only fighting this. So that's at the beginning. Okay. Let's look at the end of the rally and see if we can see anything there. Because ideally, you'll have a fight where one of the opposing animals will lose its HP, right? That would be ideal, so we can start to see some of those damages. Let's go back. That's weird. No battle taking place in the middle of it. And then they started taking really bad ones. Hold on. Ugh. And then it can't even record anymore. Well, let's look here. Let's see if we can find one as low as we have. Took a flank attack. So Stella took a flank attack from the Biochemical Beast. Beast damage reduction plus 10%. But from what? What was it? What was the infliction? Right? So the armor was tricked. Increases basic attack damage. Delta damage caused with debuffs by 15%. Damage buff plus 10%. Damage reduction plus 10%. But it doesn't give us any information. Was inflicted with increased damage. Okay, inflicted with these. Armor break. Stella, Elena. Yeah, that's the war tactics. Not war tactics. Disruptive tactics, pardon me. Inflicted by armor break. Basic attacks. Trigger Stella. Counter attacks. Still nothing about Biochemical Beasts or any of the actual numbers based around them. See, and look at this. Crystal and Pangolin use strange swipes. Lost 371 HP. Still remaining 250,000. So as long as you're replenishing, it looks like you can keep the HP up forever. At which point the beasts do nothing, at least in these towers and garrisons, right? So what do these damage numbers mean? Well, they're not very clear. So that's effectively the problem that we're running into, is that we don't know much about how they're going to influence the fights. But that all being said, and that being the understanding what we're looking at, let's actually look at what they say that they do, at least to each other, okay? Now, what you will notice, like I mentioned, there is 2 legendary and there are 2 elite. They are related. So the corpse bull here is the same kind of thing as the undead bull. The undead bull is just going to be doing what the corpse bull does, except better. Same with the crystal pangolin versus the hammer pangolin. Okay, the hammer pangolin is going to do what the crystal pangolin does, except better. All right, so let's look through what the crystal pangolin does first. Let's check it out at max, because obviously, we can check it out here, but it doesn't really explain much, and we want to see what the potential is. Okay, so the potential for the crystal pangolin is as follows. First and foremost, we're looking at 67,000 HP for itself, attack at 3,200, defense at 3,100, providing crit damage, counter percentage, and physical reduction and squad damage reduction at the end. So, decently tanky, providing that crit and counter, makes for decent damage punching, physical reduction and squad damage reduction. If this works the way I think it does, having that additional 8% off is pretty nice. Okay, so for being an elite, that's pretty good. But let's look through his skills so we can see a little bit more of what he does. His leader skill is going to deal damage to the target every 6 seconds at a multiplier of 420%. If this pet is garrisoned, increase the skill multiplier to 630% and gain 50 plus counter for 3 seconds. So he wants to be garrisoned, right? When deployed, damage reduction of squad heroes goes up by 2%. So here's where I'm a little bit confused as to what the whole thing is. Whether this is all that we're getting out of having him is that damage reduction of squad heroes by 2%, or whether we're talking squad damage reduction by 8%. Whether this is influencing the beast alone, and whether this is influencing the squad heroes and the squad troops alone, I'm not 100% sure. But that could also be the case, right? So again, take this all with a grain of salt. Okay, so at max tier, we're talking 630% when he's Garrison, plus 50 additional counter for 3 seconds. And then you're getting that additional 2% damage reduction, which is a flat damage reduction, which is huge. Okay. Next, you got his active skill. So this is going to be triggered by counterattacks or combos. Deals damage to the target every 3 seconds at a skill multiplier of 186%. If the active skill was triggered by a counterattack, increase the skill multiplier for this attack to 234%. So, again, based on how it's triggered, whether it's triggered by a counterattack or a combo, if it's triggered by a counterattack, you get more damage. If it's triggered by a combo, you get a little bit less. If you are using this hero as a support, when the active skill deals a critical hit, deals follow-up damage at a multiplier of 172%. Also, the target's combo damage goes down 6% for 3 seconds. So remember, there is, you can have these heroes as leaders or support. We talked about that a little bit before. If you didn't know, what we can actually do here inside here is you can actually choose one of your heroes to support them, and at which point you're getting bonus HP, attack, defense, in this situation, squad damage reduction, and then obviously the support skills that come with the partner beast from there. Now, I'm not going to actually connect those yet. That's just my own decision because I don't have much to choose from. And I still don't know, again, how influential these guys are going to be. So, looking back at the Hammer Pangolin here, or the Crystal Pangolin, pardon me, we've got Strange Swipes, which we've just talked about, dealing more damage in that active skill. Now, we've got passive skill. When in a rally or garrisoned, increases own attack and defense based on the number of troops in the squad and the troops' attributes up to a maximum of 250% of own attributes. So when he's garrisoned or rallying, right, so you can use him in rally, increases own attack and defense based on the number of troops in the squad up to a maximum of 250%. I'd like to see how those attributes break down. That would be pretty interesting to me. But then it also says when triggering a counterattack, active skill damage increases by 15% the next time the active skill is used. So benefit to being in a rally or garrison, especially if you're being swarmed in either of those situations. Now, the cool part about this is that we're talking about this as a leader. If he's a support, he's going to boost the leader with a 10% defense. Which by itself, I mean, sounds pretty substantial. Okay? Because if you think about it, I mean, these heroes, the attributes that these heroes have, 10% defense is an extra 300. That's pretty substantial. Whoops, too far. All right, so, and then lastly, once you've got him awakened to, or not awakened, but you've got him, what's the word? Is it promoted, I think? Yeah, once you have them promoted to tier 1, you earn the last skill, the last, like the 4th skill that they have. Okay? So that's when you'll unlock that one. Oh, man, I keep clicking too far. So once you get them to level 1 tier, or tier level 1, you'll open up the last skill, which is here when Garrison gets an additional 30 crit, and then the support when triggering a counterattack against a rallied target deals additional 2% damage to current attack. So bonus damage. Actually, let's look at the max. Sorry. When Garrison crit is plus 70 and counter is plus 30. When triggering a combo against a garrisoned target, deals additional plus 6% damage for current attack. Also, Does that change here? When triggering a counterattack against a rallied target. So a rallied target is a garrisoned. So then why is it worded different here? Against a garrisoned target. That's really confusing. Just reword it. Just reword it. When triggering a combo against a garrison target, deals additional plus 6% damage for current attack. Also, the target's crit goes down 30 for 3 seconds. So you can start to see how this this Crystal Pangolin, for example, is going to be really good at garrisoning and helping with rally a little bit. But, I mean, again, how influential, nobody really knows, especially when we're talking with rallies and garrisons having HP for days on these biochemical beasts. So we really don't know how much they're actually dealing damage to each other, which is kind of sad if you think about it, because this is a huge update that they've done, and really nothing is clear. Anyways, let's forget all about it. I've been harping about how everything's not clear. Y'all should know that by now. Let's move on to the Corpse Bull. So the Corpse Bull at max, you're going to be looking again, 6,700, 3235, 3110. That seems to be the same stats. So you're going to have the same stats for both. The only difference here is going to be the special attributes. So here you're getting more combo and crit. You're getting combo damage and crit damage. And then you're getting physical reduction and squad damage reduction here at the end as well. And if you'll notice, he's more set for rallies than he is for garrison. And he's set more for crit and combo than he is for crit and counter. Okay? So, let's look at his skills. His first one is leader skill. Deals damage to the target every 6 seconds at a multiplier of 420%. When in a rally, so when he's rallying, increases the skill multiplier to 630%. And combo for his attack plus 50. When deployed, his skill damage of squad heroes goes up by 2%, by plus 2%. So you can start to see how he's going to do a little bit more when rallying in a in a rider rally, for example, where they're going to get more damage output, or even in an infantry where they're going to be pumping out a little bit more damage too. Just having that extra skill damage is going to be nice. You look at his second one here. His active skill is going to deal damage to the target every 3 seconds at a multiplier of 186. If the active skill was triggered by a combo, increases the skill multiplier to 234%. The support skill, when the active skill deals a critical hit, deals follow-up damage skill multiplier 172%. Also, the target's counter damage at minus 6% for 3 seconds. So remember, this is your active skill triggered by counterattacks or combos. Now you've got your herd tactics, which is a passive skill. When in a rally or garrison, increases own attack and defense based on the number of troops in the squad. So this is going to be the exact same one as what we have here when in a rally or garrison. However, the only difference is here, when triggering a combo, active skill damage increases by 15% the next time the active skill is used. So this one here is going to be defensive. As you can see, everything is damage reduction and things like that, whereas this one is obviously the opposite at dealing additional damage and dealing additional damage. And here the support skill leader attack 10%, whereas here the leader is defense by 10%. Okay? Now lastly, when in a rally, combo plus 70 and crit plus 30, or as a support when triggering a combo against a garrison target, deals additional target damage and crit minus 30 for 3 seconds. So you'll see how these will engage with each other before they're converted. Now, from what I understand, they're going to do all their damage to each other before the damage is directly converted to your troops. So that's kind of what all this hype and stuff is all about. Now, when we're looking at the legendaries, the truth is they're going to be the exact same, only a little bit stronger. Okay? So if we look at this one here, deals damage every 6 seconds at 420%. If it's garrisoned, it's dealing 630. This one, for example, if we look here, we're dealing it every 6 damage at 600%. If it's garrisoned, it's doing 900%. Gaining 70 counter for 30 seconds. For every leader skill used in battle, gain 2% attack, up to a maximum of 20%. So it's going to be punching a little bit harder the longer he's in battle. When deployed, damage reduction of squad heroes is 4% flat. That's huge. Okay? Anytime you're getting flat damage reduction is a big deal. Anytime you're getting HP is a big deal. So these are kind of pretty decent. But again, it's basically just the Crystal Pangolin except stronger. Okay? Deals damage to the target. When this attack deals a critical hit, gains counter plus 60. And then as a support, when the active skill deals a critical hit, deals follow-up damage multiplied by 248. Also, 248%. Also, the target's combo goes down 50 for 3 seconds. Next, you've got your Cavern Lord. This is the start of your passive skills. When this pet joins a rally or is garrisoned, based on the amount of troops, you're getting 400% of its own attack and defense of Sel's attributes. When triggering a counterattack, increases its own counter damage by 2%, up to a maximum of 30%. So that's going to stack as well. Okay. Now, when it's in support, it's going to increase leader defense by 15%. And if this pet is garrisoned, leader damage reduction is plus 7%. So it's going to make the leader pet much, much, much tankier. Okay. Now we've got the Fortress Power. So if this pet is garrison, crit goes up 120 and counter damage goes up 50. So it's going to be triggering more crits, more counter damage, which obviously, or counter attacks, which obviously is going to trigger your counter attacks here in your combos. Because like we said, let's look back over here. What triggers combos? When Biochemical Beasts deal damage in battle, they may trigger a combo, right? So pretty much just dealing damage in battle is going to trigger these options, which means that the more, obviously, the higher the scores, the more those chances of triggering, the more damage, and the chance of finally removing the Biochemical Beast from the opponent. When triggering a counterattack against a rally target, deals additional 9% damage and inflicts crit minus 50 for 3 seconds. So, again, just like the Crystalline Pangolin, the Hammer Pangolin is much better, much stronger, and kind of focused on Garrison. And if we look at the Undead Bull, just the same as what we went over with the Corpse Bull, it's going to be the same. Deals damage, so this one is going to be the damage dealer in comparison, so you're going to send this on your rallies instead. Deals damage to the target every 6 seconds at a multiplier of up to 900% if he's in a rally. And combo for this attack goes up plus 70. For every skill or leader skill used in battle, gain 2% attack up to a maximum of 20%. So that one stacks. And then when deployed, damage of squad heroes goes up by 4%. So now we're getting more damage by the skills of the leader, the heroes of the skills. The skills of the heroes, pardon me. Scratch that and reverse it. Now we've got Iron Hooves. Iron Hooves. Jesus, my mouth is just quitting right now. Deals damage to the target every 3 seconds at a multiplier of 240%. When this attack deals a critical hit, gains combo plus 60 for 3 seconds. When in support, when the active skill deals a critical hit, deals follow-up damage times 248%. Also, the target's counter goes down by 50 for 3 seconds. So again, making things hit just a little bit harder. Next, we got your passive skill. This is going to be your herd leader. When you're joined in a rally or garrison, based on the amount of troops, you're getting up to 400% on your attack or defense, based on the troops, on their squads and the troops' attributes. And then when triggering a combo, increases own combo damage by 2% up to a maximum of 30%. So here we stack this one as well every time you trigger a combo. And then obviously here in the support, we're getting more damage. So a leader gets an additional 15%. Attack, and then if this pet is rallied, leader damage plus, if this pet is rallied, so this means if he's garrisoned, the leader damage goes up by 7%. See, again, the wording is very confusing. To me, this says that now if this pet is rallied, so if he's garrisoned or in a rally that gets rallied. See what I'm saying? So like some of these wordings is, I mean, that could be the possibility too. So if he's garrisoned and gets rallied, or in a rally and gets rallied, leader damage goes up by 7%. That's a little specific to me. I'm not really a huge fan of that one. Let me see if that's going to be the same thing here. No, this was just if it's garrisoned. See, so that one's going to be a little bit more restrictive just because it seems like it has to be rallied itself. Instead of being garrisoned, you know, you have to be basically counter-rallied in order to get that, and so you have to let the counter rally hit in order to benefit from it. And there's some cases in which running a counter rally is smart, but not every case, right? And then last, we've got destructive power. If this pet is garrison, crit goes up 120, combos goes up 50. And if he's the support, and if he's the support beast, when triggering a combo against a garrison target, deals additional 9% damage. So if he's in a rally and he's dealing a combo against a garrison target, not against another rally, deals additional plus 9% damage and inflicts crit minus 50 for 3 seconds. So To me, the Undead Bull seems a little bit more restrictive than what the Hammer Pangolin is, but that just could be because obviously the Undead Bull is going to be based on rallies, whereas Garrison, you can just throw your troops in a Garrison, and there's more options to rally. So it makes it a little bit more difficult to use them to all of their abilities. But that's it for the physical ones, guys. That's it for it. That's all the ranting I have to do of how little we know about them, how much of this is conjecture, how much of this is just an assumption. So do me a favor, if you do know how this works, or if you have any insight, or if you have any thoughts, leave it down in the comments below, because any extra advice or any extra tips or things to look at to be able to make an educated guess is really all we have to go on right now. So if you can do that, that would be great. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe button, fill out the notification bell so you get any new drops. We've got a Pompeii replay every Tuesday and a Who TF4U podcast every Wednesday. We're always dropping new content on the channel. Make sure that you have that notification bell filled out. And lastly, if you're looking for a new alliance, GROP is actually recruiting in Region 420 now. We are looking for a handful of new talent, talented individuals who like to fight, who like to participate, who are active daily. And if you participate in chat, that's a bonus. Okay? But we're looking for a handful of new players to be able to add to this, to not only help teach the aspects of the game, but also help us flush out our team a little bit more. So if you're looking for a new adventure, you're looking for a new team, reach out to us. GROP in Region 420. Send me a private message and let's chat. Other than that, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate ya. Love, peace, chicken grease, and until next time, stay lifted.